Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and I'm not dead. Also, happy Bionicle Day. I just wanted to show you something pretty cool. So, this is my mini Bohrok. It is a design I've been working on pretty much all day. Well, not all day, but part of the day. And I'm super happy with it. Hopefully I can get my camera to focus. Let me just adjust my lighting, because it doesn't like to focus when the lighting's... Anyway, yes, I will be providing instructions for this in the description below. I'll talk about that here in just a second. But it is a little Tana cow that can fold up into a little ball and roll around, or of course you can unfold it as well. Arms fold out just fine. Legs also fold down, and the head is even on a ball joint, so you can kind of get it to look around. Now, a couple things I want to go ahead and mention. This piece actually exists in red. I just don't have any available right now. So I'm using orange ones here, which I think is totally fine. It's still Tanak at the end of the day. There are a couple of changes that I've made for the instructions, though, just for ease of, parts usage and stuff like that. There's one piece in here specifically that I modified just to make things a little more structurally stable. And there's also a bootleg piece in here, but the instructions are not going to include any modified pieces, any bootleg pieces, and one other change, which I'll show you here in just a second. But yeah, so the little guy can stand up relatively easily. It does not have knees, obviously, but it does have legs and feet. So as long as you adjust things properly, you can get the feet to align. The problem I'm running into, though, is I chose some CCBS joints that must be made of like glue or something, because they have way too much friction. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of friction they have, which makes it really annoying to try and roll this guy up into a ball, unfortunately. And yeah, it's a little bit cumbersome, but the top CCBS joints seem to move around just fine. It's just the bottom ones that don't like to. Maybe I'll switch them someday. Anyway, aside from that, though, a couple of the things that I wanted to make sure that were stable about this guy was the build for the legs here, because I wanted to just like make this as strong as I possibly could, right? So the actual like upper Bohrok limb that's up here is actually kind of like locked in place because of the geometry of other pieces. Same thing going on down here. Again, this whole area where the back legs are is essentially going to change in the final model. You'll see it, though, again. So let's go ahead and talk about the instructions. Yeah, so like I said, I did modify a piece. This piece down here, if I can get my camera to focus on it. I cannot get my camera to focus. There we go. Is actually a modified piece. It is a perpendicular connector that I literally just cut right down the middle. It's actually a piece that I've wanted for a long time, so I'm happy to modify it because I'm getting two pieces out of it. I only did it to one, of course. I'm not going to do it to too many. But unfortunately, it is not a piece that LEGO makes. However, I am also using a bootleg piece here, which is this bar that I'm using to connect it is actually a 2-length bar, which LEGO doesn't make one of those without the little stopper in the middle. But it's a super useful piece. Again, not going to be in the instructions for obvious reasons. It's a bootleg. It's hard to get a hold of. So yeah, I'm not going to include any of those types of pieces. Lastly, though, there's a little tiny Krana in there, which is also not going to be in the instructions because of how difficult it is to get that in here, plus what it does to the head. But the Krana is a Krana Yo from the Galak pin. So if you guys aren't aware, back in like 2001, they had a bunch of little like peripheral items you could buy for Bionicle. One of them were little ink pens that you could buy with the Toa Mata, Toa Nuva. It actually lasted quite a long time through the run of Bionicle as well. But the Bohrok one specifically had little mini Krana and a mini Toa Mata head that you could attach to, which was super cute and definitely a useful little piece there. Unfortunately, it is a proprietary connection, so it's not super useful, but I was able to fit it in there. It does unfortunately mean that these teeth can't close up all the way, though. So again, as I mentioned before, in the instructions, these teeth will actually be fully closed. It'll have a little overbite here because I'm not including the Krana in the instructions. I want to make this as easy for you guys to replicate as possible, and as, easy to display as possible. So it is possible to build this little guy in red, just like this. It is also possible to build it in black. You'll just have to change that Hordika neck to dark gray, or of course you can buy third-party ones in black. But aside from that, that is the build. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I just want to let you know I will be linking my Discord in the description below, where you can find the instructions for this. Check out the channel Mock Instructions on my server, and you will find this little guy. Has a PDF file there and parts list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Bionicle Day. Later.